Welcome to another episode of the Ajapreneur Show. Today, I am so excited because a lot of people always ask me this question: why is human resources so important for small business? And I can't stress you enough how important is the HR component to your business. So stay tuned if you want to learn more about the benefits of why HR for your small business is important. All right, so employees, we know, are the most critical component of our business. And for a lot of businesses, your restaurants, your childcare centers, doctors' offices, retail, a lot of them don't have the HR component. They don't have an in-house human resources department. But what's interesting is that human resources make up about 70% of human capital. And so when I talk about HR being such a critical component of your small business, it is important. It is the most important component of your business. So employees. So managing employees and the human resource aspect of your business is important. So for very small businesses, a lot of the benefits is just being efficient with things like payroll, helping employees commit to their roles, and just showing loyalty to employees is critical to retention, helping them follow rules, policies, and procedures. And one of the things that I've learned in this industry and being in this industry for over 2 decades is a lot of the small businesses don't know how to manage the employee relations side. So if there's an issue at the job, if an employee has a grievance or anything of that nature, they are not sure how to handle those things. Now, I'm not going to get into employee relations on this video. I just want to stay focused on why is HR important for small businesses and give some benefits to it. But I will be recording another video here shortly on employee relations and how you can retain your employees. Okay, so the key components of why HR is so critical is because we are the professionals when it comes to the recruiting aspect of your business. The human resources department itself, we have the skills to look for candidates that are qualified for the position, that have the skill set for the position, and people that are going to do well in the role and like what they're doing. One of the things that I've noticed in the labor market today is that a lot of small businesses are just hiring bodies. And my gosh, I can't tell you enough how important it is to hire candidates that are going to be not only a body for that position and help the operations, but someone that is going to be important. They're going to be an asset to your business. So one of the things about recruiting is that once you recruit that candidate, the recruiting process itself is a long process, right? And so now that we have issues in the labor market, we know that that recruiting process is way more complex than it was prior to COVID. And so now when you look at recruiting is not just, hey, let me find a candidate, let me put that person in your organization and go on about your day. That is not what recruitment is all about. These days, it is about vetting a candidate that is going to be a right fit for my organization. Okay. And when you find that candidate that you feel is going to be right for your organization, then your next step is to make sure that when you set up that interview and you go through the recruiting process, the first point of contact for that associate or that candidate is with someone that understands the rules and the laws when it comes to interviewing. A lot of what I've learned in my small business clients is there was no blueprint for what could you say, what can't you say. It was just, let me recruit this candidate, let me talk to this candidate, and let me get to, know this candidate. But there were questions being asked about marital status, social security numbers, date of birth, etc. And these are things that are against the law. You cannot ask these things when you're recruiting. And so the benefit of having an HR professional or HR personnel in your establishment, whether it be an HR consultant or you hire HR services, you want to make sure that this is one of the reasons why this is a benefit to you, because we are the professionals. We are going to know what to say, what not to say, what's legal to say, and we're going to ask the tough questions to make sure we bring on the right candidates. Now, once we've decided on the candidate, the next step in the recruitment process is the onboarding process, right? So a lot of people feel like, okay, once they recruit someone, the first point of contact is supposed to be good and you're supposed to have good vibes. But the next step is to make sure that you acclimate them into your organization and show them the ropes, show them your cultures, show them some of your best practices in your organization. And what's happening is that's not happening because you don't have an HR department. And what's really causing a lot of the employees to leave is because they feel like they're just being dropped into the company without being told the why, the what's, the who's, the when's, the where. And so you wonder, okay, well, I hired them. I went through this whole vetting process of hiring them, finding this candidate, scheduling them for an interview, and then, I onboard them and they're only here for a day. Now, I don't know if you guys understand that the amount of time that it takes to recruit one person can be up to 30 plus hours of HR time. And so a lot of people have to understand that that time when you're recruiting those new employees is critical. So the whole entire process of recruitment and why having an HR professional can be helpful and beneficial to your small business is because we're going to make sure that person is recruited or that person is vetted appropriately. We're going to make sure that person has the tools they need to be successful in their role, and we're going to make sure that their onboarding process is smooth and efficient, and now their entire recruitment process is effective. One of the next things is why HR is so important is pay and benefits. Okay. For most of the small businesses that I manage, most of those small businesses have less than 49 employees and less than 49 employees. And technically, when you get over the 50 mark is when you start to when the laws state that you must provide medical insurance. And so one of the things that is beneficial when you have an HR professional is that they help you understand what is the market rate of pay for these certain positions that you have in your organization. One of the things you don't want to get caught up in is wage and hour, the labor laws and wage and hours, because this is where a lot of penalties lie for small businesses, because they don't have a professional to tell them, hey, this is what the market value is for this role. And I'm going to tell you guys, in my business with my clients, I typically every 6 months I do a market analysis just to make sure that we're paying in an appropriate competitive market. But a lot of businesses, they don't ask for a wage analysis. They don't know the market rate. They go on Even if you just Google it, you have some people will still shortchange about $1 just to stay, just to help them in their operational costs, but they're not realizing that they can be penalized for this through wage and hour, through the Department of Labor. And so one of the benefits of having an HR professional in your organization is because they're going to make sure that you're in compliance with the labor laws and the wage and labor laws. So you want to make sure you're in a position to where you're paying your employees market value, number one, because that's going to help retention. And number two, you're going to make sure they're being paid the competitive rate. And when it relates to the benefits portion of it, a lot of people think benefits is only medical, but benefits can be have rewards programs where they offer gift cards if you work a certain amount of days, for example. But benefits can be something that is managed through human resources. These initiatives can help retention in your business. If you're one of those small businesses that retention is constantly, declining because you can't keep anyone, then you want to make sure that you hire a HR professional to maybe help you with some benefits to keep employees. So when it comes to pay and benefits, having human resources, it's important to manage those things for you. Okay? A lot of it can be, managed in-house, with your hiring managers. A lot of them can manage pay and payroll and things of that nature. But it's always best to make sure you have people that specialize in these areas so that you don't have any risk in your company. Now, speaking of risk, one of the most important components of having a human resources professional work with you in your small business is 100% managing risk. I can't tell you guys enough of how important managing risk and minimizing risk is, why we really exist. Human resources really exist because that's what we do. We manage the risk. We put out the fires. We are the firefighters of the organization. And how we manage your risk is by making sure that things like discrimination, things like harassment, retaliation, any of those things can be deemed as risk for your company if it's happening. And typically in small businesses, you don't have the training and development in your organization to combat some of these issues. So harassment trainings, you don't have anyone to tell you what you can say, what you can't say, how you can touch a person, how do you maneuver around certain things in the small business. Typically you have a lot of organizations that don't know. And so a lot of their risks come from wrongful termination. It comes from discrimination. It comes from not being in compliance. It comes from retaliation. And so you want to be able to manage these risks, because that's, as a small business, you just can't afford to be sued because you didn't know the risk you were taking. And so managing risk and helping, with complaints, with safety measures, and just anything work-related injuries, insubordination, arguments, you name it. If you are dealing with these types of issues, this is having an HR professional will help you manage those things. And I would love to get deeper into this portion of this video, but I want to really just give you guys an understanding of why HR for small businesses is so important. Okay, so managing risk, again, is like the most important reason why we exist. Another benefit is training. Now, I mentioned training because a lot of people don't realize why you need training. And a lot of employees always gripe about training, but they don't realize how impactful it is to small businesses. And when I talk about training, I'm talking about training and development to help you understand, again, harassment, okay, how to manage arguments, how to deal with work-related injuries, how to minimize risk by avoidance, and trying to be proactive more than reactive towards a lot of situations in a small business. A lot of trainings can help small businesses as it relates to managing risk. And so if you are one of those small businesses that feels like, hey, I am constantly, dealing with this person, calling this person out their names, I am constantly dealing with this person not calling out, and it's a lot of absenteeism, and it's just a lot that's going on in the organization. These are things that are riskful in your company. And as a small business, we can't afford any risk. And so you need an HR department, you need an HR professional to lead you and navigate you through these complaints or these issues that could be, violations of the company or violations of the law. And so having human resources for that matter is simply why it is such a huge component to your business. Now, there are a lot of other factors in regards to why human resources is so important. We know labor laws, whether they're local, federal, or state, we know that it's important for us to maintain and make sure that we're abiding by these laws and staying in compliance. But when you are a small business, a lot of hiccups is because a lot of the small business owners just don't know those laws, okay, and what they really are, okay? So bringing on an HR professional is going to help you with all of these benefits. It's going to help you with employer-employee relations matters. It's going to help you with compensation and benefits. It's going to help you with those labor laws and making sure you're staying compliant. It's going to help you with that training and development piece, right? And it's going to make sure you maintain, your organization maintain a level of consistency so that your processes, your procedures, your best practices. And so when you wonder why human resources is so important for your business, this is why. These are the benefits of HR. And I can't tell you enough. I didn't even mention everything on this video, but I want you guys as CEOs, as hiring managers, to understand the reason why HR is so critical to the success of your business. And if you have any type of questions you would like answered, I would love to answer any of your HR questions. Put them in the comments below. I put out videos every Monday so that you guys will understand, what's important, what are the trends in HR. And so I'm hoping that this video was beneficial. So if you are a small business owner and you're struggling with some of the components in which I mentioned in this video, then you definitely need to either get in contact with me. All of my contact information is below in the description. As you know, I am a professional HR consultant. I do manage clients in multiple states, and my organization, we are an HR outsourcing services company. So if you have any questions, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Ajapreneur Show, and I hope to see all of my CEOs, all of my hiring managers, everyone here on next week. Talk to you soon.